Hello everyone. Today we will discuss on HTTP, CGI and clickable map. First, what is HTTP? HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is the foundation for data communication for the WWW, which is World Wide Web since 1990. HTTP is generic and stateless protocol. This section is very important for examination questions, which can be used for other purposes as well as existence of its request method, error coding and headers. Here are some basic features of HTTP. HTTP is connectionless. The HTTP client, a browser, in an HTTP request, after this request is made, the client disconnects from the server and wait for the response. That is why it is known as connectionless, because after sending the request to the server, the connection is stopped. Now, HTTP is media independent. It means any type of data can be sent by HTTP as long as both the client and server knows how to handle the data concept. That means via the HTTP section you can easily send audio files, video files and text files. So that's why those are media independent. HTTP is stateless. That means HTTP is connectionless and it is direct the result of HTTP being a stateless protocol. The server and clients are aware of each other only during the current request. Afterward, the both of them forget about the each other. That's why it is known as stateless, because first when the client sends the request to the server, after that sending the request, the connection is break. That is why HTTP is connectionless and server does the same work. So that's why there is no certain state, and that is why HTTP is called the stateless protocol. Here is the basic diagram of HTTP architecture. Here we have web client in another section and there is a connection. By this connection we are connected with the web server, the server side scripts and the database. Those works on HTTP protocol. We have already know what are the clients and what is the server. Now, what is CGI script? CGI stands for Common Gateway Interface, or CGI is the connection or the interface between a form of web page and a web server. That means CGI helps to communicate between a web page and a web server. A CGI program is executed in the real-time section so that it can output the dynamic informations. In this diagram we can easily understand how the CGI works. First we have the user input. Then it communicates with the server by the CGI program. In this section we reside and run on the web server this user input. And then after service which are processed by the server section, then it will go to the CGI output as a client receives the reply. That is how the CGI works. This diagram is important for your exam question. Have a snap of this one. Here are some features of CGI script. The uses of CGI script is CGIs are used to resolve the data and put the data into the database. CGI script is also are used for behind the scenes of web readers. The CGI can set and read the cookies of your browser. Why CGI script? CGI stands for Common Gateway Interface. It defines a standard way of information may be passed from a browser to the server. Here are also some reasons. That's why there are many cases where CGI is so much useful. You can have a snap of this one. CGI includes the language C, C++, etc. Why CGI is used in the web programming section? Many of the uses of CGI can be duplicated by the newer technologies such as JavaScript and ActiveX. The primary benefit of CGI rather than the browser-based scripts, we can be sure that all other readers with very few will be able to use the program. Java, JavaScript and ActiveX can all be turned off within this browser, and many browsers simply don't support them. That's why we use the CGI. In this section we will know why not the CGI. They can put a lot of load on your web server. Sometimes there will occur a timeout condition, and the browser based script tools are mentioned above to have the advantages of running read computers or readers computers. Now, clicked map. A clipped map is a graphical tool that has certain areas on it defined to the link with the another URLs on when it is clicked, then it will open another page. That means you have some sections in the map. Suppose you are clicking on a country and it will open with another tab with new information. This is known as the click map technology. Those HTML links do email, FTP, etc. There are two types in click map section. One is server side and another one is the client side. By this link up, we can easily draw and get our clickable map. Here, this one is a reference for the map and this is for the image section. Right, some limitations of HTTP. Here are some privacy and integrity issues. HTTP is stateless. This section is very important for exam question point of view. Here are some HTTP modes. There are two modes, get mode and post mode. This question is also very important for your exam point of view. Here get modes means request the data from a specified resource, and post means submit data to a processed to a specific resource. That means get stands on the client side. This requests data for a specific resource. That means client send a request to the server is a get section, and if the server replies, that's why the reason that this section will call as post section. Some other notes on get request. Get request can be cached. That means it can be cached in the client section. Get request remains in the browser's history. It can be bookmarked, and the request should never be used when dialing. The requests have a length of restrictions, but in the post method we have requests are never been cached. Requests don't remain in the web history. They can't be bookmarked. Other HTTP request methods are given here in this table. You can have a snap of this one. Head is for the heading section. Put means the upload section. Del means the deletion section. And option it returns the HTTP method that the server supports. And connect is for the connection by the TCP and IP tunnel. What does CGI abbreviator means? C for common, G for gate, and I for interfacing. This is the diagram of the CGI architecture. Here we have in client side the web browser and the external viewer. In the middle point you have URL, HTTP, HTML, and in server side section you have the web server which is connected with the CGI section, which also includes the CGI executable section and the file systems. CGI environment variables are given in this section. Those are very important for examination question point of view. You can have a snap of these sections. That is how the CGI script helps to handle dynamic data. You can easily draw this diagram in your examination. In this client section, we first send the request to the server, and by the server program, we have the HTML document which will open in our client section. That is how the CGI script helps us to handle the dynamic documentation. That's for today. Thank you.